Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. The summer sun blazed overhead as Jack and Emma wove their way through the crowds at the Crescendo Music Festival. Laughter and excited chatter filled the air, mingling with the distant thrum of a bass guitar from the main stage. They had been looking forward to this day for months, a chance to forget about the stresses of college and lose themselves in the music. "I can't believe we finally made it," Emma grinned, adjusting her sunglasses. Her fiery red hair was pulled back in a messy bun, a few rogue curls framing her freckled face. Jack nodded, his shaggy blonde hair flopping into his eyes. "Remember when we first started saving up for tickets back in high school? Feels like forever ago." "Well, we're here now. Come on, let's go check out some of the merch booths before the next set starts." Emma grabbed Jack's hand and pulled him into the throng. They approached a tie-dye tent filled with racks of colorful festival gear. Emma immediately started flipping through the rainbow assortment of crop tops and shorts. Jack hung back, content to people-watch for a bit. "Next!" The vendor, a woman with a wild mane of graying dreadlocks, waved him forward. "What's your name, honey?" Jack." She scribbled something on a name tag and slapped it on his chest before he could react. "There you go. Have a great fest." Jack glanced down and snorted. In bold black marker, the tag read, "Jess." He opened his mouth to correct her, but she had already moved on to the next eager customer. "Nice to meet you, Jess," Emma said with a smirk as she reappeared at his side, arms laden with purchases. Jack rolled his eyes. "Haha, very funny." He reached to peel off the sticker, but she swatted his hand away. "No, leave it. This is great." Her green eyes sparkled with mirth. "In fact," she set her bags down and dug out 2 flower crowns, placing the one with pink roses on his head before donning a matching white one herself. "There, now you really look the part." Jack gave her a withering look, but couldn't hold back a smile at her infectious enthusiasm. "You're ridiculous, you know that? You love me for it." Emma booped him on the nose. "Now I have an idea. Since fate has bestowed this new identity upon you, why not embrace it? Just for today." "Embrace it how, exactly?" Jack asked warily. "Well, Jess." Emma linked her arm through his and steered them towards a sign advertising glitter makeovers. "What if you let me doll you up a bit and we hit the fest in style? It'll be fun! When's the next time you'll get a chance to rock a different look?" Jack hesitated, glancing at their reflections in a nearby mirror. With the flower crown and his delicate features, he could almost pass for a girl already. The thought sent a secret thrill through him. "You know what? Why not?" he agreed, surprising them both. "Let's do it." Emma squealed and dragged him into the booth, pushing him down into a chair. "Yes! This is going to be epic! Okay, close your eyes." Jack obeyed, nerves and excitement swirling in his stomach as he felt Emma start brushing shimmery powder over his eyelids. He fought the urge to fidget as she moved on to applying what felt like lip gloss and mascara. "No peeking," she ordered, swatting his arm as he cracked one eye open. "I'm almost done, and voila! Introducing the new and improved Jess Festi Queen Extraordinaire." Jack turned to face the mirror and his jaw dropped. Emma had transformed him. Smoky eyeshadow made his baby blues pop and his lips shone with a soft pink gloss. She had even managed to give his short hair some feminine flips. Combined with the flower crown and a glittery J on his cheek, he looked like he belonged on stage with the indie girl band currently performing. "Wow," he breathed. I actually look pretty good." "Damn right you do." Emma slung an arm over his shoulders, grinning at their reflections. "We are going to break some hearts today. Now let's hit the crowds and see how many numbers you can get. Hot stuff." Laughing, she pulled him back out into the bright sunlight. Jack stumbled after her, already regretting his choice of footwear. Emma's low-top Converse were much more practical than the faux leather ankle boots he had picked out to go with his artfully ripped skinny jeans. He could feel a blister forming on his heel, but he didn't want to wimp out now. As they made their way towards the food trucks, Jack noticed he was getting a lot more looks and catcalls than usual, mostly from men.
Hey, sweetheart, looking good.
Damn girl, you single? Nice stems, babe. Wanna dance? He didn't know how to respond. Emma, however, took it in stride. She twined her fingers with his and pulled him closer. Just ignore them, she murmured in his ear. You don't owe them anything. Strut your stuff and don't let them get to you. Jack nodded, spine straightening. If Emma could deal with this kind of attention every day, then he could handle it for an afternoon. He squeezed her hand in silent thanks. They paused at a truck advertising the best damn tacos, stomachs grumbling. The line was long, snaking around the corner of the truck. Oh, we're going to be waiting forever, Emma groaned. I'm starving. Jack spotted a gap near the front where two girls were chatting, oblivious to the growing restlessness behind them. He decided to try his luck and sidled up to them, flipping his hair over his shoulder.
Hey, any chance my friend and I could squeeze in with you?
He asked, pitching his voice slightly higher than normal.
We're absolutely famished and about to faint.
The girls gave him a once-over, taking in his winged eyeliner and crop top that exposed a strip of taut stomach. They exchanged a look.
Sure, hop in line with us,
the blonde one offered, moving aside to make room.
Killer makeup, by the way. I'm loving the glitter freckles.
Thanks, Jack smiled, motioning for Emma to join them. I'm Jess, and this is Emma. First time at Crescendo Fest. Same here? The other girl, a curvy brunette, gushed. I'm Ava, and this is my bestie Chloe. You guys should totally come rage at the silent disco with us later. Definitely, Emma chimed in. I hear the DJ lineup is sick. As the girls nattered on about the bands they were most excited to see, Jack marveled at how easily he had been accepted into their circle just by presenting as female. He wasn't blind to the pretty privilege Emma enjoyed, but experiencing it firsthand was something else entirely. They reached the front of the line and placed their orders. When Jack reached for his wallet, Ava waved him off. I got you, girl, my treat. She handed the cashier a credit card before he could protest.
You don't have to do that,
Jack demurred, feeling awkward. He didn't want to take advantage. Please, I insist. We're all in this together, right? Ava winked. Festy girls gotta look out for each other. Well, thank you, I appreciate it. Jack accepted the tacos she passed him with a grateful smile. As they chowed down on their food, Emma leaned in to whisper in his ear. See? Being a chick has its perks. Guys are falling over themselves to do stuff for you. Jack nodded thoughtfully, licking a stray bit of guacamole off his fingers. It was a strange feeling, being on the receiving end of so much male attention and random acts of chivalry. He wasn't sure if he liked it. After bidding farewell to Ava and Chloe, who extracted promises to meet up later, Jack and Emma drifted towards one of the smaller stages. A bluesy rock band was setting up, the lead singer doing mic checks in a smoky baritone. They found a spot near the front and bopped along as the music started, Emma shimmying and shaking in her crochet halter top. Jack was more reserved, swaying self-consciously. He still felt a bit out of place in his feminine getup. Suddenly, a beefy arm draped itself over his shoulder. Jack startled and turned to see a tall, muscular guy in a backward snapback leering down at him. The dude reeked of beer and bad cologne.
Hey, baby, you looking fine as hell,
he slurred, bloodshot eyes roving over Jack's exposed midriff.
Why don't you ditch the ginger and come dance with a real man?
Jack's stomach turned. He tried to shrug out of the guy's grip, but he only held on tighter, fingers digging into Jack's bicep. No thanks, Jack said firmly. I'm good here. Ha, don't be like that. Snapback's other hand crept towards the hem of Jack's top. I'll show you a real good time, sweetheart. White-hot anger surged through Jack. He grabbed the guy's wrist and wrenched it away, surprising them both with his strength. I said no, he growled, getting right up in Snapback's startled face.
I'm not interested. Now go away before I rearrange your teeth.
The dude held his hands up in surrender, eyes wide.
Whoa, chill. I was just being friendly.
He backed away into the crowd. Was this what Emma put up with on a daily basis? No wonder she was so tough. You had to be as a woman, or assholes like Snapback would walk all over you. Hey. Emma's gentle hand on his arm made him flinch. You okay? I'm so sorry. I should have stepped in sooner. I'm fine, Jack said automatically, then shook his head. No, actually, I'm not. That was intense. Is it always like that for you? Emma sighed. More often than I'd like. You get used to shutting them down. It sucks, but you can't let them see that they've rattled you. Jack suddenly felt incredibly guilty for all the times he had left Emma to fend off creeps on her own. He had never realized how aggressive they could be, how entitled. The fact that she had to steel herself against that kind of treatment regularly made his heart ache.
I'm so sorry,
he said, blinking back tears.
I had no idea it was this bad. Some of the stuff guys say when they think you're a girl.
He shuddered. Emma squeezed his shoulder. I know. It's shitty. But you stood your ground like a boss. I was ready to jump in and go all Xena on his ass, but you handled it.
Well, I learned from the best.
Jack cracked a watery smile.
Seriously though, Em, I don't know how you deal with this all the time. I have mad respect for you. Even more than before, which was already a lot.
It's not easy, Emma acknowledged. But you know what? We're lucky to have each other. I know you've always got my back, and I've got yours, no matter what you're wearing. She reached out and straightened his flower crown, which had gone lopsided during the confrontation.
What do you say we forget about that asshole and go dance our faces off? I hear the silent disco is popping.
Jack took a deep breath and nodded. He wasn't going to let one creep ruin their day.
Hell yes! Let's show these basics how it's done.
Emma whooped and grabbed his hand, towing him through the crowd. As they ran, Jack marveled at the confidence his best friend exuded, the way she took up space so unapologetically. He aspired to that level of self-assurance. Spending the day walking in Emma's shoes, well, boots, had been enlightening, eye-opening. He felt like he understood her in a way he never had before, on a bone-deep level. The constant low-level wariness, the pressure to be on at all times, the inability to simply exist without being looked at or harassed. It was exhausting. But it was also exhilarating, in a way. There was a strange thrill in moving through the world in this new skin, an unfamiliar power in the appreciative glances thrown his way. He could get used to the easy camaraderie with other girls, the unspoken solidarity, the freedom to be soft and pretty and unabashedly feminine. Most of all, he was grateful for this glimpse into Emma's world. It had only deepened his appreciation for her strength, her resilience, her utter fearlessness in the face of all the bullshit society threw at her. He was in awe of her. As they reached the silent disco tent and grabbed their light-up headphones, Jack turned to Emma with a soft smile.
Thank you,
he said simply, hoping she could hear the sincerity in his voice.
For always being my rock, and for pushing me out of my comfort zone today. It's given me a lot to think about.
Emma's eyes shone as she pulled him into a fierce hug. Anytime, babe. I'll always be here to expand your horizons. Now. She stepped back and held out a hand, quirking an eyebrow. Let's dance, Jess. Jack grinned and took her hand without hesitation, allowing her to spin him out onto the dance floor in a whirl of glitter and flower petals. For the first time all day, he felt completely at ease in this new identity. Maybe there was something to this whole embracing the mix-up thing after all. With his best friend by his side and a killer beat pulsing in his ears, Jack let go of his self-consciousness and threw himself into the music, dancing with joyful abandon. He could get used to being Jess. Jack and Emma wove their way through the pulsing crowd, the flashing lights of their headphones leaving colorful trails in the dark. The bass thumped in their bones as they danced, arms raised and hips swaying to the silent rhythm. Jack had never felt so free, so uninhibited. Here, in the anonymity of the disco, he could be anyone he wanted to be, and right now, he wanted to be Jess. As if summoned by his thoughts, Ava and Chloe materialized out of the throng, their faces splitting into wide grins when they spotted Jack and Emma. They pushed their way over, somehow making it look graceful despite the crush of bodies. "Jess! Emma!" Chloe shouted over the music only they could hear. "You made it!" She threw her arms around Jack in an exuberant hug, her blonde hair tickling his nose. He laughed and squeezed her back, amazed at how natural it felt. Just a few hours ago, the idea of being embraced by a pretty girl would have short-circuited his brain. But Jess took it in stride. "Wouldn't miss it," he said as they separated.
I've been looking forward to dancing with you ladies all day."
Ava sidled up and linked her arm through his, her dark eyes sparkling with mischief. "Then let's not waste any more time, shall we?" She nodded at Emma and Chloe, who grinned and formed a tight circle with them in the middle of the dance floor. They moved as one to the driving beat, their hair whipping and jewelry catching the strobing lights. Jack lost himself in the music and the infectious energy of his new friends, letting his body move however it wanted. He shimmied and twirled, shaking his hips and throwing his hands up in the air. Ava and Chloe cheered him on, their own moves just as uninhibited. Emma met his eyes over their bobbing heads and smiled, her expression proud and something else he couldn't quite name. Joy, maybe. Or affection. He smiled back, hoping she could see the gratitude in his face. The song changed to something with a dirty bass line, and the girls whooped, pressing closer together. Ava grabbed Jack's hands and placed them on her waist, an invitation clear in her eyes. He hesitated for a beat, uncertain, but then he remembered he wasn't Jack right now. He was Jess. And Jess didn't back down from a challenge. Channeling every music video he'd ever seen, Jack pulled Ava flush against him and rolled his body to the rhythm. She responded in kind, dancing closely with him, making his cheeks flush. He could feel the eyes of the surrounding dancers on them, but for once, he didn't care. Let them look. He was owning this. Chloe and Emma sandwiched them from either side, turning their dance into flirty girls' fun. It was thrilling and a little scary, like standing on the edge of a cliff and letting yourself fall. But he didn't hit the ground. His new friends were there to catch him, their boldness buoying his own. With Ava's arms draped over his shoulders and Chloe's fingers laced through his, he felt invincible, untouchable. He dipped and swayed with them until his thighs burned and his lungs screamed for air, but he never wanted to stop. It was Emma who finally called for a break, fanning her flushed face. "I'm dying," she panted. "I need water or I'm going to pass out." Chloe nodded, her own chest heaving. "Same. There's a refill station by the bathrooms. Let's go." They pushed their way out of the crowd, Jack's hand firmly ensconced in Ava's. He didn't know if it was the heat or the dancing or the total thought of the day catching up to him, but he was starting to feel a bit lightheaded. The world tilted alarmingly as they stepped out of the tent and he stumbled, his ankle turning in his unforgiving boots. "Whoa there!" Ava caught him before he could faceplant, her strong arms steadying him. "You okay, babe?" "Yeah," Jack said, shaking his head to clear it. "Just got a little dizzy for a sec. I'm good." He wasn't entirely sure that was true, but he didn't want to worry anyone, especially Emma, who was looking at him with concern creasing her brow. He shot her what he hoped was a reassuring smile and let Ava lead him over to a bench. The girls fussed over him, bringing him water and fanning his face with their hands. He waved them off after a minute, embarrassed by the attention.
"Guys, I'm fine," he insisted. "I just needed to catch my breath. No need to make a big deal out of it." "You did go pretty hard out there," Chloe said, eyeing him appraisingly. "I'm impressed. You've got moves, girl."
"Yeah, you were killing it," Ava agreed. "I've never seen someone pick up choreography that fast. You must be a dancer." Jack laughed, surprised and pleased by the compliment. "Hardly. I'm just good at faking it until I make it." He winked at Emma, who rolled her eyes fondly. "He's always been a quick study," she said. "Annoying, really? He makes everything look effortless." There was no mistaking the note of pride in her voice, and it made Jack's chest feel warm and tight. Emma had so much faith in him, even when he doubted himself, especially when he doubted himself. He didn't know what he'd do without her unwavering support. "You're not so bad yourself," he told her, bumping her shoulder with his. "I may have the moves, but you've got the stamina. I thought you were going to dance me under the table back there." "Still might," Emma said, her eyes twinkling impishly. "The night is young, and so are we. Think you can keep up, Jess?" There was a challenge in her tone, and Jack was never one to back down from a dare. Ignoring the little wobble of vertigo as he stood, he linked arms with Emma and turned to Ava and Chloe with his most charming smile. "What do you say, ladies? Ready for round 2? The girls cheered, and they marched back into the fray, arm in arm and ready to dance until the sun came up or their legs gave out, whichever came first. Jack had a feeling it would be the latter, but he was nothing if not committed. As the tent swallowed them once more, he let the bass take him, his newfound confidence surging through his veins like a drug. He still didn't know how to feel about this whole Jess persona, but one thing was certain. He liked the way she made him feel. Brave, bold, beautiful, worthy of love and admiration and belonging, just as he was. Maybe Emma was onto something with this whole embrace the mix-up philosophy. Maybe there was more to him than he'd ever allowed himself to explore, facets of his identity that he'd kept hidden away out of fear or shame. Maybe Jess was less of a mask and more of a mirror, reflecting back parts of himself he'd never had the courage to acknowledge. What a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.